think about the sovereignty of God, and we were walking even through a grocery store, and I have an opportunity to speak with someone, I should be thinking that God ordained this moment in time for me to say some kind words to that individual, to pray for that individual, for them to pray for me, because maybe I need encouragement at that very moment. When we look at this passage in Luke regarding the Pharisees, could any of that be pointed at us, church? Could any of it be pointed at us? That we are setting up hurdles and regulations and legislation and all that other kind of stuff that's going to cause others to not be able to see the face of God. Because that's not what we were called to do. The Bible tells us that they will know you because of your love for one another. Jesus tells them in verse 42, "Woe to you Pharisees, because you give God a tenth of your mint, rue, and all other kinds of garden herbs, but you neglect justice and the love of God. You should have practiced the latter without leaving the former undone." Are we, church, are we practicing the love of God? Most of the folks that I know that are unbelievers don't want to have anything to do with church, mainly because of the people who go to church. As my brother says, when he asks someone to come to church and they say, "I don't want to go there with all those hypocrites," he says, "That's okay, we got room for one more." Then, guess what? He did it again, didn't he? He's talking about some history. In verse 51, it says, "From the blood of Abel to the blood of Zechariah." Blood of Abel to the blood of Zechariah. So let's flip over and let's read a little bit about Abel. Genesis chapter 4. Very first book of the Bible. Genesis chapter 4. Verses 3 through 10. Genesis chapter 4, 3 through 10. It says, "In the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. But Abel brought fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his sacrifice, or in his offering. But on Cain and his offering he did not look with favor. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. Then the Lord said to Cain, 'Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door. It desires to have you, but you must master it.' Now Cain said to his brother Abel, 'Let's go out to the field.' And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, 'Where is your brother Abel?' 'I don't know,' he replied. 'Am I my brother's keeper?' The Lord said, 'What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground.'" That was Abel. Then he mentioned this guy named Zechariah, and that is in 2 Chronicles. You got Judges, 1 and 2 Samuel, 1 and 2 Kings, 1 and 2 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, chapter 24. 2 Chronicles, chapter 24, starting in verse 1. 2 Chronicles 24, starting in verse 1. And when your pages stick together like mine are right now, it's a pretty good indication that you're not reading it enough. 24, starting in verse 1. We're going to read several verses here. It says, "Joash was 7 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 40 years. His mother's name was Zibiah. She was from Beersheba. Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord all the years of Jehoiada the priest. Jehoiada chose 2 wives for him, and he had sons and daughters. Sometime later, Joash decided to restore the temple of the Lord.